Alright, welcome to the results stream of the Opus Magnum 2025 tournament. Week 5. What the puzzle was
Hello,
crystallized air,
everyone.
and you had to make this output using this. The given glyphs are bonder, debonder, multibonder, and calcifier, duplicator, and that's it. The metrics were area,
Very
which is
simple puzzle.
the usual area, and mechanism area, which is let me see, load this up. 9. Which is the area swept by mechanisms.
It'll show after you press play. Yeah.
So during the week, people had very strong opinions about the mechanism area metric. We're eventually going to see why, but we are, as said, we are doing area first. Yes, it is. This is 10 p.m. for me. All right. Fast up in the area metric at
Which one are we
place.
starting with?
Feel up. New solution 1. There's no notes. There's actually 41 scoring submitters in this metric. You'll see why this has very few competitors. You'll see why.
Nobody likes area. Good for me. I can score more easily. Not that I'm competing, but if I am competing, I get to score easy points for area. I know area, heart emoji. Yes.
But anyways, this looks like a speed solve? Question mark?
It's a solve. It's new solution 1.
There's new
That's
solution
for sure.
1 and new yeah. Scooby schooling. Bill Foxes. Gotcha.
That's fair.
Alright. Next up. We skip 2 people and we skip a competitor and a host solve. 37th place. Matrix. $193 error.
It is a very interesting looking area solve.
Mm-hmm. This kinda sorta feels like mechanism area. I don't know.
Maybe this might be mechanism area, but it sure does use a lot of it. Oh, zooming out does not work well with the mod.
Alright. Matrix writes, ran out of time. Here's my speed solve. Gotcha.
Which is a speech solve, I see. It speeds up with the technique of duplicate everything, calcify later.
All right. Next up, at 36th place, no longer breathed in. Area is harder. And we see our first proper mechanism area solution.
But I thought we were looking at the other metric.
Yes.
If this is the mechanical area solve, I think we should look at this later. Unless there is somehow a better mechanism area solved by no longer breathe
Yes,
in.
there's. Yes, no longer breathed in.
Okay.
Beat this 10 mechanism area solve with another solve.
I see.
Yeah. Right. This solution, on the other hand, is probably easy to beat on primary. Referring to the other solution, which is shown later, which will be shown later.
Mm-hmm. Gambling on the reverse showing order.
The thing is, I posted a message that area will be shown first, but she probably didn't read it. All right, gonna run it to completion, and then next up, we skip one competitor. Optimization for pamuk, copy in Turkish. As the solution title suggests, I'm dedicating this puzzle to my cat. Pamuk means cotton in Turkish. Unfortunately, my cat passed away 4 days before the duplicator puzzle's deadline. I wanted to dedicate the solution for that puzzle to Pamuk, but I just wasn't in the mood to even turn on my computer. Thankfully, I found the time to solve this one. I hope you're resting peacefully, Pamuk. As for the solution itself, I originally aimed it to make it trackless. I ended up with a solution, area metric, something like 210s, but then realized that adding tracks could reduce it by 40 to 50 points, so I ended up adding tracks. My approach to producing the product was to combine pairs of salt-air molecules. I know this isn't ideal, converting extra salts back into salt-air pairs take a lot of area and time, but I like the simplicity of the solution, so I stuck with it. Thanks for the puzzle, have fun everyone. Thanks for participating. Oh yeah, the batch of salt air atoms here stored in the hexarm.
Mm-hmm. You know, looking at this solve, I'm wondering how difficult this puzzle is for beginners.
Yeah.
Like for Opus Magnum veterans, all puzzles are easy to solve. Well, most puzzles are easy to solve. There's the occasional nightmare puzzle, like
right.
Rubik's Garden or something like that, but
Right.
Yeah, it is an
Yeah,
intimidating
yeah.
puzzle. Very big chunks that you need to try to connect together.
Mm-hmm.
All non-production puzzles, yeah. I mean, there are non-production puzzles that can be a pain as well. Next tourney is going to have 3 rings. Funnily enough, we consider the amount of rings.
With like polycyclic, like polycyclic hydrocarbons being shared in the tourney chat. Yeah, 3 was
We
briefly
also,
discussed. I shut that down.
oh yeah, we were briefly considering the idea of a larger
Yeah.
embalming fluid. Embalming fluid, that was the name of the puzzle, yeah.
All right. Condolences to his uh, to an optimization, but we shall move on to the next
Yeah.
place. Nightshine. Hacky last minute dash slab. How many times?
We're still in the area of the hundreds. And this is an area solve with a waist chain. Look at that go. Are we sure this isn't a mecha solve?
This scored better in the plain area than Mecha.
I see. We're looking at the mechanism area, but it's a different solve that just happens to score better. Solves.
But anyway,
It's
he
funny how this
writes,
scores better than the previous solves with the waist chain.
the note is I will not waste salt. Repeated 100 time, I think. Alright, next up. Slept through. Disposal, there's no disposal.
I hope you liked ARM inside input because we're gonna be seeing a lot of ARM inside input.
Outputs, not input.
Oh, outputs, yeah.
Slept through writes speed so, except it actually took like 15 minutes. This puzzle is harder than it looks at first.
Bigger inputs are hard to think of in your head,
Mm-hmm.
like how everything everywhere should go. Not bigger, well, bigger outputs, bigger product. Arms and Rings has a fair few examples to borrow from nowadays. Yeah, lots of big ring puzzles nowadays.
But then
Breathable fluid.
this thing has 2 rings instead of 1. You cannot inbuild 1 and be done with.
Yeah.
Alright. Next up. Reinen. 73 area, significantly smaller than the previous one. They right?
We're getting to. Oh, look, it's ARM inside products.
Mhm. 3 of them, even. They write, this is called initial area because it is the first soap I submitted. No time this week. Rest in peace. Curious how low it can go though.
Oh, it can go low. It goes low, all right.
Correct amount of
A
digits.
massive drop.
Mhm.
Mhm. We don't have a 4-ring puzzle yet. Well, I mean, if you want, what was that? Golden thread is a very, it's 6 rings.
Alright. Next up, Michira. Merge solution. No notes.
Golden thread rate, unlimited rings. So true.
This one feels like area.
I mean, yeah, these solves have started to be feeling like they're. If equilibrium is being put down, it's probably an area solve.
There's
Is
there's
Cortelli an area?
less big swings and there's more translations.
Okay, Cortelli is used. All right. This one looks width-minded. What's min width for this solve actually?
5.5 I'm guessing.
Mhm.
Yeah, the output itself is width-minded.
Will the area solves actually? Will our area solve also be min width? I think it might. Min area is min width, but I don't think min width is necessarily min area. Min area is min width most of the time, I think. I'm not a width main. Who here is a width main? We'll talk more about like the possible layouts when it comes to when we get closer to min area.
Mhm.
First off with bonder inside product. Interesting.
Oh yeah, bonder inside
What would
the
be the
product.
minimum? What would be the minimum trackless area? Probably not much different. Tracks are not as important as you think.
Alright. Next up, Paradox. Big area solve. Right? This is by far the biggest area solve I ever did. I don't really know what min area is all about or how to approach it. I do think the design looks quite beautiful.
In this puzzle, we can see the variety of ways you can translate your output from next to it to on top of the output.
Mhm.
But yeah, this uses a lot of area when it just does the big rotate in the middle of the giant hexagon. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Famously, the optimal place, the worst place to rotate the giant crystal is from the center.
Yeah. And this does exactly that. Still pretty soft though. The best place to rotate a crystal is one off the center.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, your arm is one off on the center, but the rotation point is one off the center, and the grab point is somewhere else. Counterpoint, beak spin, true. If you're going for man up, that is where you're supposed to grab it.
Yeah,
This one
this
almost leaves
almost
Critelli
leaves
unused.
Critelli unused until the
Almost
last few moves.
until bonding.
All right, next up. Crazy Bot 27. Trifurcation. I'd first like to apologize for submitting an over 7 million cycle solution to the break week puzzle. That may have briefly crashed the site, sorry about that. It ranked 12th though, so strangely it'll probably end up being my highest ranking solve of the tournament. Anyway, I don't really like area, but I gave it my best shot. Initially all my solves split the output into a C and an O, but this cost area because I had to get the C out of the way to build the O. Then I had the idea to instead split into 3 like you see here, and that saved 6 hexes over my other solves. It also gives this solve a pretty satisfying final assembly sequence. I put 2 of the arms are on tracks just to dodge each other's swings, but they ended up saving me some cycles as well.
You could fit a tri-ring in this area. You could. I wonder if Critelli is used. Is Critelli used?
Use it.
Oh yeah, it is. I see it sweeped over. Yeah. I wonder why area is the least accessible out of all the classic metrics.
True, I still find area like not very approachable.
I find area just fine in terms of approachability, but that's me.
All right, next up.
Area has the least clear mins. Yeah, that makes sense.
Next up, JPIP, who simply writes area plus big molecule equals no brain.
think we could start talking about sliding space with this solve.
Sure, I get.
Yeah.
So
This solve in particular happens to have two sliding
two sliding
spaces.
spaces, yeah,
You,
in either side
yeah,
of the solve, in either side of the output, yeah.
yeah. But in terms of area theory, what you want to try to do when it becomes to large molecules and small molecules in general, but small molecules are often more so dictated by the minimum amount of glyphs, is that you want to have the smallest slide as you can
Mhm.
and work down from there. Yeah. One slide is your starting point. But what to do after that and how to solve it within one slide is a whole different issue altogether. Yeah, that's fair.
To be honest, I think I don't think I can say much about this because I myself suck at it.
Hi, it's me. I'm the area commentator. Hello, everyone.
All right, next up, chickens in the attic. How many cycles is that? That 38 cycles faster.
Hello, area commentator. Hello, Kazian. This one uses 3 slides, but it somehow has less area.
The same area as before. It was 59 before.
Mhm. Technically, we could fit 4 slides. Hmm.
First soul would never
But this
never
is a,
calcify her.
I haven't been like paying attention to the calcification.
Same.
Common theme so far, this output shape requires movements that make it tricky to suppress the input. So you put the input outside of the output.
Which equals area.
It costs area, but it's easy.
Alright, I'm going to speed this up a little bit. There's no notes.
Mhm.
Alright. Next up. Random name 7190. Functional soul. He writes, it sure functions, not well, mind, but this was my first time trying on area solve on a molecule of this size, and honestly, this doesn't seem too excessively larger than the footprint of the molecule itself. Probably easily improvable though.
That's interesting. There's no arm within the other ring.
Ah. This is the... Yeah, this is splitting the ring into C and an O.
Yeah, and then bonding everything together. suppose the solution only looks bigger because it's vertical.
Mhm. Right. Next up, for you. A equals 5b minus 4. What does that mean?
Oh no. Of
Best
5
second?
bonders, I
B
think.
equals best second question mark?
Maybe I don't know. 5 bestagon minus 4 area, I suppose.
Best B5 minus 4. 5 pentagon minus 4 area. Yeah. Yeah, there's the minus 4.
I see it. New area notation dropped.
This one is also using the both slides on each side of the molecule.
The deep bonder being inside the ring makes this quite complicated to assemble. You have to like scoot the extra parts out to bond. What would have made it easier is if you did the debonding first, left the atoms lying around, and then finished the ring.
Right. Next up, guilty bystander. Minus 3 area. Use solution 3. There's no notes. And this is the last area, yes. Yeah. Wait a sec. There was 4 private messages in the Discord. All right.
Murakonda is asked to show her solution, but it's showcased, so that's kind of hard to insert into the middle of the area solves.
It'll probably not appear here, but yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, she says to show it when it would have shown up if it did solve.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But
Next
it's
up.
to showcase solve, and those are kind of hard to pick out.
Mm-hmm. All right. Oh yeah, this is our first vertical slide. What I'm calling the vertical slide.
Except it does it twice.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's doing it horizontally here, but if you orient the atom molecule in a different direction, it'll be vertical. Well, diagonal, but
Oh yeah. Also, -5 area. Yeah, the drop is happening. He writes, I spent a lot of time just staring at this puzzle. Somehow I couldn't visualize the best way to break the large molecule up into parts that could bond along the edges of the output. The components I settled on, 2 L's, 2 sticks, 1 Y, and an elbow, feel about as large as you can get away and still maneuver them around to bond into the output. There's a couple of ungainly stick walks to keep it within height 7, but otherwise I'm happy with this one. I find the final construction very satisfying to watch. All these seemingly randomly dropped parts suddenly crystallize into the output very quickly. Still not confident about this. Still not confident that this is competitive for minimum area. Probably there's some trick I'm missing.
yeah, double slides make this puzzle a lot easier because you have a lot more bonders to work with to assemble things where they should be, where they're gonna end up. If you want to only do it in one slide, your options for where your bonders are going to be is a lot more limited.
Mm-hmm.
So it begs the question of, is it possible? Well, the answer is you'll find out. Guess says they found the wide slide a little easier than even a double narrow. And it's a little smaller. Yeah, the wide slide has more area. Well, not more area than this solution, but the wide slide is gives you a lot of space for bonders. And doesn't require you to build like large large molecules that have to be swung throughout the input or the output.
There's a lot of colon 3Cs in the chat.
Also, be right back.
Alright. Alright. I should move on. Next up. X-Sucker Trip Weight. How much is it? About minus 600 cycles. Interior motifs. This is still building from... Wait. Is this 6p? It seems to be 6p, okay. For what purpose? Well, since there's a lone atom like lone atom left over here, and inside one lone atom left inside the rings, there's no way to like remove the atoms without significant pain. So probably cycle save. This is, yeah, this is right. Wide plus narrow slide. All right. Next up, at 17th place, we drop down 4 more area. Mr. Royal Spade. This is the wide slide. No, the narrow slide. I think. Right. Wakona, I'm going to show your solve after this. Also, the one motif I remember while watching at the top end souls, this shape. Remember this. Mr. Royal Spade writes, "This puzzle gave me breathable fluid vibes. I just wish I had the time now, and that I did then. I like how approachable this puzzle is if you are not too worried about min. This is very much a just solve the puzzle approach. I didn't even work backward on it. I'm expecting this to get crushed by actual area players, but I said I'd solve every puzzle for every metric, so I'm doing it. I'm looking forward to see how top solves leaves gaps within the whole of the product." Beast, I think she had something to like.
Did I forgot to unmute? I forgot to unmute. Hi, everyone. I've been talking, but nobody could hear me. Hello. Yeah, I was
Welcome
gonna
back,
say,
Alfonso.
I was talking earlier about how the area cannot go below 40. Well, I mean, it could, if you like squeeze it a lot. Technically, it can go below 40. But also, I also mentioned something about Mr. Royal Spade's notes, in which he said a lot more area pros will do better than this, but there aren't a lot of area pros.
Right.
Lucky for you. most area pros aren't submitting, aren't scoring.
Before we move on to the next solve, as Murakona requested, this is the Murakona's failed 47.
There you found it.
Not only the bond is missing here, but it collides with the Yuli's pawn input.
Yeah.
Right. Next up is Tweedledee. 45A60. There's no notes.
What was Mr. Royal's fate cycle count?
Mr. Royal's pace 1627.
Oh, okay. Content says, I am now much less confident about my
Wait a
primary.
sec. 42 genius 42. Yes, right. Somehow. Wait a second.
Wait, what happened to that solve?
42 genius 42 does have a 47. There's one soap that is causing a problem. Because yeah, it is missing primary and secondaries entirely.
Why is it missing primaries and secondaries? Did you not fill them in?
What?
Did you not fill it in on the AHK? Did you happen to accidentally delete it?
No. Wait a sec. Let me just...
I'm curious how that happened, though. You said you had an issue with the solve, but I couldn't figure out why that happened.
Wait a sec. Okay. The problem found, I think. No, it isn't. Yeah, problem found because of the too long title.
Was there a comma in the title? Oops.
Wait a sec.
Weird, it looks just fine for me. Maybe Excel auto-formatting broke things again.
Wait a sec. Let me just repopulate the list.
.37 area. That would be interesting. So many people think they don't have min. Nobody's confident enough in their area skills to
So
think
what
they have
happened?
min.
So as far as I can determine, what happened is that if a title is too long, there's automatically 3 dots after the 3 dots and dot 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 after the cutoff title, and that causes the problem.
Interesting. It's not a problem for me on my parser. Probably the Excel auto formatting is what broke it.
But I use your CSV best. I use it.
Did you use my?
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's the CSV I'm using as well.
All right. 42 Genius 42, Area 47.
Here we go. Here's the 47 area solve. Longest Opus stream. This isn't the Zorflax stream. Y'all are spared from the longest Opus stream.
I mean, it's hard to beat Critelium stream. There was 3 metrics.
3 metrics and hosted by Zorf. How long was it? 7 hours? This is a horizontal slide plus a diagonal slide, which puts it at exactly 47.
Mm-hmm. This isn't the first time where excessively long solution names caused problems.
I don't know why it does that. It shouldn't. And there's no issue on my end. It's weird.
All right.
Jamu, you know you're getting top at 15. Or do you mean in
Mr.
MechA?
Royal Spades. And this is Tweedledees. Have we seen this one?
Yeah, we've seen Tweedledee.
All right. All right. Then next up is 14th place, Mr. Puzzle. 44 area. The 2-arm shuffle.
We drop an area.
Mhm.
This is one horizontal slide, and using all the
Internal spaces.
all the space inside the all the internal space. That is where 44 gets you. And I assume we might be at 44 for a while, just because it's easy to reach. Oh, that's a big swing. that was a nice swing right there. But it's gonna appear at a different time than when I said that because stream delay. That swing was a nice swing that puts the middle into the middle. Yes, thank you, Jamu. 44 is a very reasonable target, yeah. Is there a way to get less? Smiley face. This is what you respond to. Is there a way to get less? The thing is about getting less is that you don't have to use the space in the middle.
First explored in the, what was it, elemental jewel setting.
Yeah, the space in the middle is not all necessary. And also, well, the other slide is 42 area, so. This is using the large slide. The small slides use 42.
Alright. Next up, as she predicted, is Biggie. Hi, Biggie. This is the narrow slide, but using 2 extra area.
Very interesting internal. This is the small slide with 2 extra bonders just sitting outside for some reason. Why are they there? Also, damn it, apparently I have a new subscriber on Twitch now.
I didn't read. I missed it, Mr. Puzzle's notes, but I'll just note that he states that 42 seems like a reasonable challenge, so min is probably like 39.
Except Mr. Puzzle got a 44.
Mhm.
Not awaken up for cons, so this was a first effort. First effort getting 13th is pretty darn nice if you ask me.
Mhm.
Surely this is min area because Biggie is our area mate. Oh yeah, the placements are dropping fast. There just aren't that many submitters per area. Spiritual Shampoo says they are the definition of min +1.
Next up, John.
Yeah, caloresis is.
Probably the wrong last move with the wide slide.
Is it the wide one? It's the wide slide. Yeah, there it is. It's the wide slide. That's what I'm calling it now. B is the esoteric metric main. If the metric is esoteric, you can bet on Biggie winning it.
The Queen of Curse of metric herself.
But yeah, the thing about the big swing which not the big swing, the wide slide, is that you can afford a lot of bonders just on the side, right? You can afford a lot of bonders everywhere. The other slide, the sliding area is a bit chopped up, so you can't use as many bonders. That's what makes the other slide harder. But it has 2 less area, so you gotta try, right? So you can see that the largest molecule intermediaries that this solve has to do is the central Y shape and the corner bracket, angle bracket shapes. It makes 2 angle brackets, and that's about the biggest part it needs to make. And those are quite easy to maneuver around within this area.
Alright. Next up, 43 area, Cavalier. This is a narrow slide plus 1.
Oh, narrow slide +1. Yeah, that's the thing. With the narrow slide, you also have to find a place to fit your duplication. Because duplication is necessary in this puzzle. So is the debonder. So you're going to have to find places to fit it. And here you'll see the issue that that comes with the large slide. Well, the small slide. I think. Yeah, it's that the small slide requires this giant spine on the bottom you see here. It has to connect from all the way from the bonder on the bottom left to the bonder to the bottom right. And that entire piece has to be an intermediary that you have to make somehow. Also, surgery D min refers to min achieved, not theory min. But there are plenty of other ways to like
Oh yeah, this spine.
remove theory min as theory. Oh yeah, you see this solve deals with the spine by having an extra bonder that helps build the spine right next to where the spine is supposed to go.
Uh-huh. Since this is going to take 2000 cycles, I want to speed this up.
Yeah, but looking at this solve, you can see how if you can just fit that duplication within the footprint, you have a 42. The question is how. Mr. Rosemaid is asking if you can pause the cycle before the drop.
I'll just tap from here.
Yeah. So like this here, when everything's bonded together, that's the final slide area that you have to keep in mind whenever you solve your area.
All right, next up. How much is it? Only 52 cycles faster.
Oh boy. Which
A43.
It's always a joy to say that name. By the way, 43 area gets you in top 10.
This duplicate our location seems very uncomfortable, but I don't know why this is special.
This area self has a tumor.
Is it because it can duplicate the entire molecule with this orientation?
Yeah, it can. I mean, it could it could in any orientation, but that sure is one of them.
Like if it is like sticking out to the one side, then if it is like smooth on the one side, then you can only fit molecule like this. Definitely not like this.
Oh yeah. It can't. It actually can't in most orientations. Yeah. So that's why this is faster. It has better dupe. Yeah, there are only two possible slides for the last molecule, and we've been referring to this on stream as the wide slide and the narrow slide, or the thin slide. I don't think we've been. What have I been referring to? The small slide? Just the small slide? I don't know.
The wide and narrow, or the
The wide
horizontal and
slide and the narrow
vertical.
slide. Yeah, I think wide and narrow is clearer.
Yeah.
This one uses the narrow slide, but it has a tumor on it, growing on it. Wide slide takes 44 area, but if you do the wide slide, you can also introduce holes into the wide slide to make it less area. Thick slide and thin slide, I like that. Width slide and height slide. The dupe glyph is a chronic health issue. It's a bone spur. Which push, you need to fix your bone spur. It's growing on your spine. That shouldn't happen.
Alright. Next up. Spiritual shampoo.
Is it 43?
43.
43 area. All right. It's confirmed, everyone. Min area is 42. Spiritual shampoo has 43 area. Min is 42. It's confirmed, everyone.
Also, yeah, title
Literally
literally 1984.
1984. Wow,
Because it's
this is
literally
literally
1984
1984.
seconds.
This is white slide -1, isn't it? Cordelia is never used.
Oh. Right.
Yeah, it is. This is white slide -1. Yes, so
Empty
this is
internal
white
maps,
slide
yeah.
with a hole. That Critelli is not used area. And it's able to do so because it builds the C shape in the I don't know what method it's called, but it does the C shape by pivoting in the right place, so it doesn't actually use all the internal area, neither does it use the external area. Surgery D is a non-believer in Spirochan shampoo. Shame. Shame. But yeah, the thing it's doing with the C on the left side right now, you can do that without having to use the empty space in the middle.
This is about the optimal spin. Yeah, one off from the center that doesn't take takes
Yeah.
the smallest area.
Big Brother is watching Surgery D. Pretend to be a believer.
Alright, next up.
Min is footprint per output plus footprint of last slide plus 2. Yeah, but that's min if you don't consider the
That's very
swings.
optimistic, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a way too optimistic min. You have to consider the swings, you have to consider access, you have to consider a lot of other stuff. You have to consider intermediaries. Intermediaries is the most important.
Alright, next up. 8th place. 42 area. Kazian.
We reached the perfect area amount. 42. The answer to everything.
3 hexes empty in the middle, but
Thing.
one hex extra on the outside. He says,
Kazian believes we are at min. Kazian is a believer.
he writes, Cycle 397 speaks for itself. All 42 hexes are at full occupancy.
But yeah, this definitely demonstrates that you don't need the middle of if you do the C shape. The middle is optional, but the sacrifice you make is the input is sticking outside for some reason. We got a psych stop at cycle 397. Yeah. It's when the Q shape appears. There's going to be a Q shape appearing. Yeah, this is the Q shape. And it has to somehow rotate that 60 degrees clockwise. So that the bond, so that spur can go be all, yeah, like that.
And this seems to be 6p.
But yeah, SurgeD, this is the wide slide though. The wide slide has a lot more has a lot more options in terms of intermediaries. Because it can do the C shape, while the narrow slide cannot do the C shape. Just due to bonder locations. 6p is required because there's 3 extra atoms that's just laying around, yeah. Due to suppression reasons. If you're going to prove less than 42 possible, though, you're going to have to find a way to reduce one more area. Which is not easy when you look at this. Not from this layout, at least. This layout uses all the area it needs. 41 Genius 41.
And immediately coulombs. Next up. Fiesta.
In
Optimal
7th
area,
place,
ring
Fiesta.
or not. In many ways, this puzzle reminded me of the ring enlargement weekly puzzle, the central question being, how many central hexes can we leave untouched? I found 2 likely options for 42, with 1 empty hex on the less spacious final move orientation, and what you see here. with 2 empty hexes on the more spacious last mode. I pursued this one more vigorously because it felt likely to be faster during early experimentation. In addition, I could see this general strategy suggested some 41A layouts. I spent a lot of time trying to make one of them work, which ended up costing me a mech area. Didn't hit the target myself, but would not be shocked to see someone else succeed.
Yeah, this is like a previous solve without a input tumor on the outside. It trades one less inside hex with a elbow in the middle.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm asking, why is everyone saving internal hexes? Well, that's the thing. Shaving internal hexes is slow.
I wonder if we are going to see it on the next solve. Yes, we are going to see it on the
Yeah.
next solve, yeah.
Shaving internal hexes is slow because you need to maneuver around everything around those empty hexes instead of just swinging a big ass molecule all the way through the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna have to handle a lot of individual smaller intermediaries, which makes it slower. But somehow spiritual shampoo has the fastest 43. Yeah. Somehow. Begs the question, though, if the fastest 42 will be faster than the fastest 43.
Alright, next up. Shadow Cluster.
Congrats to everyone above this for beating Shadow Cluster.
Yeah, this is also 42. No hexes saved inside, but narrow slide.
Yeah, this is our first narrow slide. Our first fully narrow slide.
Who writes?
So here's the thing about this week. It was kind of last minute.
There was some large amounts of restructuring going on at the like later ends of the like later puzzles of the tourney.
But yeah, this solve shows why it's hard to make a hole within the narrow slide. If you want to, because solves like this require a giant spine that you will see on the right side. And the spines are very hard to build without swinging internally. Probably impossible to build without swinging internally. Despite being a last minute puzzle though, I still think it worked out great.
Except for that thing, but we don't talk about that here.
And you can see that to build the spine in the middle, it does that swing where it it's that the input stays suppressed and then the atom moves out of the way as it swings through.
Right, Shadow Cluster writes, I can predict about 6 people will get min here, though my predictions tend to be off. This is my unaltered 3-hour playtest solve. I did revisit it to see if I could grind down secondary more, but ultimately haven't submitted further. I do expect to get around that as a result of these inefficiencies.
Shadow Cluster does not say that. This is not min.
Yeah, Shadow Cluster really went hard on the playtesting, so
Yeah.
and even on this last minute puzzle, he gave his effort. So
He's quick too. This took like what, 3 hours?
yeah.
I'm curious what people think is what you have to do to get lower, because I looked for lower too. It does not seem possible to me. The two methods to get 41 that I can see happening is the only method I can see happening on getting 41 is probably the white slide and introducing more holes. But that runs into its all sorts of its own issues as well.
All right. Next up, 6th place, Calurisis, min plus question mark. Yeah, also narrow slide.
Yeah, this is a very simple narrow slide solve. Oh, oops, I spoiled that there was no 41. But yeah, all of 41s with a narrow slide have to build that large spine you see up top, and that's a limiting factor of this layout. Also, I believe we have beaten Shadow Cluster Cycles, not Shadow Cluster, Spiritual Shampoo Cycles.
Shadow Cluster already have
Yeah,
beaten it. Yeah.
we have also beaten Shadow Cluster Cycles because this scores higher than Shadow Cluster. Look, 41 seems barely possible. 41 might be barely possible or barely impossible. There's no concrete proof that 41 is impossible, but it's certainly not something that is easily achieved.
All right. Next up, Gemu. Old solution 1 copy. She writes, area! Exclamation point. First time I have spent effort on an area puzzle. The last couple steps are the hardest. Having the entire puzzle be bonded with only one extra row of free space is difficult. I had to work backwards from the final movement, finding the weird lopsided Y shape as the last shape needed. Then it was easy from there. 44 should be min. I don't see a way of shifting it to bond the whole structure with less area. Then there's a line break. So turns out I was wrong. 44 is not min. I had a dream where I was solving this puzzle and somehow had a sideways movement as the final one that bonded everything, and well, it worked. The last shape was really annoying. The 4-atom gun needed to be bonded on the bonder blocked by the input, which means suppression, and more suppression. Also, that big swing with the big stick for the top of the shape goes hard, I think. Area progression.
But yeah, the S.
59, 56,
Oh, I was just gonna
55,
say
53, 48, 47, 44, 42. Prediction, 30th place.
Okay, the funny thing about that prediction is that it stayed all the way through. It stayed 30th place throughout this entire week. But yeah, congrats on 5th place. Wonder if there will be a 3-arm solve. I don't know, that S bend, because of the S bend having to swing through, and that being a thing in every single one of these narrow slides, I don't think there can be a 3-arm solve. And since we're at the top, we can talk about how to like decrease your cycle count as well.
Yeah.
So like the most important thing is to have as little intermediaries as possible. If you have a lot of loose atoms lying around, that means you're going to have to be handling a lot of loose atoms, which takes a lot of time because grab dropping is expensive.
Right.
So the less intermediaries, the better, which gives these solid solves a benefit in which that they don't need to have those tiny intermediaries to move around because they have the giant space in the middle to swing around. So they can quickly build the large intermediaries and have them just laying around where they're supposed to be until the puzzle needs to until the molecule needs to be entirely bonded together.
Right.
So faster solves in this do that, do larger intermediaries and also handle the input faster. Because some inputs need duping and debonding and restructuring into the intermediaries. So doing that faster also gives you a faster cycle count.
Right. Right. Next up, 4th place, GUI.
GUI,
Identical layout.
supposedly with the exact same layout. Yeah.
Translation in a direction 120 degrees from the central wall is the most area-efficient movement to output, and the entire solve is planned in reverse from that. The movement that cycles 89 through 93 had to be checked in advance using a custom puzzle. Area is a metric I've never really attempted before, so I don't expect much in the way of placement. And yet...
This is a drop, by the way. That's 200 cycles faster than the
Right.
previous one.
It was, yeah.
This looks like it has so much more finagling, though. Surgery D has a secret sauce waiting. Yeah, that is a lot of finagling, but somehow 200 cycles faster than Jamu saw. Despite being the exact same layout.
Like when making the spine, it just directly bonds the lone atom. Lone atom.
Oh yeah, the bottom part of the spine, yeah. Yeah, this part is faster instead of finagling the atom from somewhere else.
It just directly builds onto the spine also. Less intermediaries.
Yeah. To be fair, GUI, to score well in area if you know area is easy. Who's left? Yeah, who is left?
Next up,
We have Sergi D, who was unconfident in his solution all the way. There's Evanov, and then there's
there's all of us.
oh yeah, All of us. All of us scored top 3. Congrats, all of us. Top. Oh, they are third place. Outside dope. This is an outside dupe. No, this is Albatross, not Thought.
Yeah, this is Albatross in the Discord. So all of us writes, up to flipping the direction of the duplication glyph, this should be the only viable layout for 42 area or less, unless I make a mistake or you do something weird with wrong bonds. Figuring out the assembly order was a nice puzzle. First, we perform 4 duplications. Next, the 6 atom segments at lower right. Next, the 9 atom segment at top. Next, the 4 atom segment at lower left. Next, attach the last 2 lone atoms to the lower right segment. Finally, the last bond. Optimizing for cycles was less nice. There are up to 10 different fragments on the game board at any time, and figuring out where they go and what order to move them in requires keeping the whole solution in your head. I did most of my solving on paper with some help from the plastic hex pieces I posted in Discord. The only change I made after the first version was 6p'ing it to save 5 cycles.
Area do be one of the best metrics to solve on paper.
Spoiler, it didn't matter.
This is 1p. It looks like 1p.
What?
Maybe it isn't.
It isn't.
It isn't? Okay. Because it does a weird finagling of the remainder. Oh, yeah, that's 6p. Yeah, that's 1,376 cycles of instructions. It would have an extra grab each loop, true. Don't think it would have mattered, though. This is 200 cycles faster than the previous solution, again.
Right.
Important negative 5C optimization. It would have only come third without it, as opposed to a scoring third as it does right now.
Alright, next up. About 100 cycles faster. Second place, Ebonon.
Sergi D with an unconfident first place. Sergi wins again, somehow. Despite their best efforts to actually win in the other metric. This looks very similar to Louis solve. Just rotated 180 degrees. What's the difference?
Ebon writes, build a spine of 8 atoms, a cap of 5 atoms, a door of 3 atoms, and a key of 5 atoms, and assemble them together. There are not a lot of ways to build a spine, and swing it into the right direction, with a corner arm 2 can hide into, and with arm 1 in a place not blocking building the key. The swing of the spine covers all hexes in arm 2's chamber, and arm 1's chamber needs to hold all the glyphs. It seems that the door can be bonded to the spine during the swing, but that will leave no space to build a key to. The layout makes it hard for communication. Arm 1 cannot touch the input, Arm 2 cannot touch debonder or duplicator. It's fun how they still get to help each other move the part at the far end. Arm 1 moves the spine to bond with the cap to save Arm 2 bending backwards to push the cap. Arm 2 pushes the door as the only way to move it past the debonder.
Cuckoo 52 is in the other metric.
Mhm.
We'll see. Cuckoo 52 was a victim of MechA. Yeah, Cuckoo's 52. Yeah, Cuckoo's solve does place for this metric, but you know, it's a
Yeah.
mecha solve. It's not gonna place well in Mario. Wonder what AG
Mecha is a
does.
coast-like, so it wouldn't. So it necessarily
I don't.
requires swinging around.
In terms of AG, I think one of these bonders are removable on the left side. You don't need it. You don't need the bonder, as Shadow Cluster has demonstrated.
All right. At first place, Sergi D, Light Scatter.
With the spice that everybody has long forgotten about.
Had an
You can
awful
feel the
time
calcifier there, by the way.
Had an awful time trying
Why
to
do you
soak.
need a calcifier? You say, oh, that.
I'm trying to read the notes.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Had an awful time trying to solve this, as I'm no area expert. It was my solution 1 due to lack of additional ideas. It is min plus 6 considering min is the footprint of the output plus hexes required for the last slide, plus arm plus half the bonder. An hex inside the product may be saved by a more skilled player. I tried placing the arms outside of the output, but the 6 hex budget was too tight, and every move required occupying the inner hexes. I doubt this places well at all. If Kazian performs as expected, the tourney is going to be decided today. Classical.
Plastic, I
Classical
did not
notes.
put effort into this metric. Gets first place.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
this
that
is.
calcifier being there speeds the solution up because you can just dupe the entire elbow into air and then salt it. This is only 5 cycles faster than the previous solution, by the way. So it was a close race. Welcome to Opus Magnum optimization, Sir GD. Sometimes saving 5C is important. Not that this solves needs to 6p, it does fine just without it. Area's great, area's fun. Wins first place, hates the metric. Can't be me. To be fair, I was also surprised when I got first place in, what was it? Local anesthetic. Area just doesn't have that much of a competition. It's easy to get first place.
So that was area,
Mhm.
and we are going to look at the other metric.
I'm gonna go use the restroom. I'll be right back. Remind me to unmute when I'm back, everyone.
But when do you return? All right, we've seen this one. We've seen this one too. All right, the first actual soul. Trixie Kagami Alchemy Company. The Mecha Monster. There, it's done. I built your weird shape molecule thingy. Now get this engine off my desk, give me my gilder, and get out of my office. Thankies, have a wonderful rest of your day. And then there's a line break to separate the lure from the soap notes. I have zero clue how on earth to get this shape together within its own area. I'm looking forward to the live stream, so I can see how one confines this beast into such small quarters. This was meant to be an area soap, but quickly devolved into MechA. Even then, I'm not confident this is all that great. My arms are doing the best they can do, so here's hoping I didn't do anything wrong with my instructions that could shape the hex of MechA. As frustrating as this shape was to put together with just 2 piston arms, it felt amazing to finally drop the shape into the output glyph. Getting those final bones in place was tricky but satisfying. I also felt really smart making that first straight line that became the basis for the whole soul. Now I'm finally free of this monster. I'm honestly more of a Raquel. Good luck to those placing above me, and congrats to everyone who got a half decent area solving, for thou art a better area solver than I. Signed, Trixie Kagami, the Cheshire Alchemist, making difficult shapes since a certain point in time. Not since 2025, this isn't my first rodeo, but it was certainly a rough rodeo. MA
Hi
mechanism
everyone, I'm
area.
back. I'm back, everyone. Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Good to know.
One
Good to know.
sec.
I
Double check.
remembered. Hallelujah.
Alright. Next up, Reinin. Saving cycles on the road to 8. Wait a second. Did they actually?
Where's the 9 from?
Reinin never achieved it. This is a slightly more high effort soap than the area one, but it is still low effort, because I had no time this week. RIP Part 2. I have visions of a solution that uses some kind of unhinged surgery to assemble the molecule, and manages to do it the whole thing in like 5 or 6 mecha. But I did not spend nearly enough time to try something like that. At least my primary is single digit, which I'm happy with. Good double. The 2 arm areas are completely disjoint on this one.
Why does it need an extra grab point on the input? Is there any reason for that?
Not sure. Ah, okay.
It shouldn't need to do that, right?
Because ARM2 need
Oh,
to, yeah.
because suppression. Yeah, oh, ow, that hurts. One single use of that hex.
Oh yeah, this is already a bit chugging. Wait a sec.
Oh yeah, because it's got a big ass stick. You don't need to disable it yet. No, we can do that later,
Maybe.
Paxton.
Sure.
Yeah, no, don't do it now yet.
Next up, Bubbly, who says, "Hello, I'm new here."
Hi, Bubbling. Did you say Bubbling's area solve? Do they have an area solve?
They didn't.
I see.
Hi, everyone.
Oh,
Hi, Becky.
hi, Biggie.
Let's do this. I'm finally awake and able to join commentary. Let's take a
Good
peek at what's
morning.
going on.
Oh, hi, y'all.
Oh, hi.
Right.
So I started a blog post about mechanism area yesterday. I did talk a little bit about pistons and how you can touch all your access points without ever going outside of them. So I'm seeing right now on the stream we got a piston doing its access points thing.
The piston is pistoning. How wonderful.
Alright. Bubbling writes, hello, I'm new here as you might guess. I completed the base game some years ago and forgot to play more. But then I remembered that this tournament gets held and was pleasantly surprised to find that it was ongoing. Last year I promised myself that I would participate next time, and now here I am. I made an 11 mecha solution at first and thought that was good enough. Then after I submitted it, here 2 hours before the deadline, I had a minor epiphany and thought I could do away with two mech area I didn't need to use. And thus I panicked and created a 9 mech area solution. I believe min might be 8 or 7. The solution is rather obvious with single piston with access to everything and no big swings.
Welcome to the community, yeah. Also hearing, I think the minimum might be 8 or 7 just makes me go, oh boy, you're in for a fun time.
It's definitely like the first thing that I cover in this blog post is how, yes, there's a very easy way to not understand the assignment, but those of us who understand the assignment feel horror.
If you think 8 or 7 is a min, you're in for an interesting stream.
Oh yeah, it's a horrifying idea to be able to get min on this. Anyway,
Here's what you need to think
I won't
about
say
for
anything
min.
about it yet because of spoilers, but I have to defend myself on this side.
I mean, it's like saying theory min is 35 on the area puzzle. Theory min over here is 3. Arm base, input, output. But that's like saying min area is the sliding space plus the output and a single arm.
35. Everyone got 35,
Yeah.
right? We saw SurgeED with his 35 area solution. Congratulations, SurgeED.
Alright, next up, 33rd place, Catspin. How fast is this? 400 cycles faster. She says, officially burnt out on the tournament.
Oh.
It's got 9 mech area. Is it using that second arm just to pivot?
Apparently.
Because if you're not going to use any additional area with an arm, then it's just pivoting.
Royal Spade. Did I realize that the cheap min would be possible?
We shall see.
Not sure. I wasn't sure if it would be possible.
But it was considered. Oh yeah, you can use track.
Arm 2 also touches the output.
Yep.
I guess I'm curious what the access points are then, because I see arm 1 touching 6. Oh, arm 1 doesn't touch the top of the... So arm 1 only has 5 access points because it doesn't touch the top right tile of its zone.
Mr. Puzzles mecha mode.
Yeah, I'm better seeing this mod's area layout now. I'm late to the stream. I'm showing up now and looking at what's on the board.
All right.
But yeah, this is a simple solve of grabbing the input, having full access bonder and debonder, and fixing everything in post.
Next up, Sockboy. 8
Those
mechanism.
duplication glyphs are wherever convenient.
This has no dupe.
Oh shoot.
No dupe. Interesting. Probably waist chains then.
Yeah, definitely waist chains.
I think I see a waist chain growing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It's gonna use one more area than this somehow. No,
No,
that's
it's 8.
That's 8.
It's 8.
Yeah.
It's using the waist chain
Oh,
to
it's
push
using the waist.
partial product. That's pretty
Interesting.
nifty. I like the brick-mindedness of this. I love when it uses waste to push an output. It's very
Waste
big
doesn't
ETI
use more
brained.
area because atoms are not mechanisms. So it's
Oh
nice
yeah,
to
no,
use them for extra access
you're
points.
allowed a little bit of waste in this puzzle, and it's not a
As a
problem.
treat.
You can
As a
have a
treat.
little 100,000 area as a treat.
If you wanted to.
Let's see the other half.
You know, if you think about it, a waist stick is just an extra long arm.
Yeah,
This demonstrates that.
it's definitely come more and more to the forefront of the Opus Magnum community's collective knowledge that reaching things is best done by structures and not arms.
Big slappy stick go burn.
A structure can reach things and it doesn't cost anything because atoms are free.
They don't tell you this, but the atoms on the alchemy board are free. You can take them home.
Alright. Next up, John. Solving for the same metric.
This one's the same one?
I do wonder how many people thought the horror discussions were about area. Oh no, John is just saying this because he's solving for cost. He's thinking of, okay, if I just call this a cost puzzle, I use my arm, I give myself full access everything, and I just don't bother with the fact that I can place tons of extra mechanisms to make the arm not need access.
This is the cost metric.
Yeah, bro
this
thinks this
cost.
is cost. Cost is sane. Cost is sane. Mech area is arm movement restricted, zero access cost. We're not there yet.
No. We're still in the reasonable solves at 7 mecha, which is all access points with a single arm.
Yep. I do imagine there will be a bunch of people who think 7's a good stopping point. It's a good stopping point.
I think a lot of people think 6 is a good stopping point as well.
Using half access on probably debonder.
Half access something.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe bonder. It is a large input.
My stake in the ground solution was a 6 with a half access debonder and full access bonder. So I am familiar with 6 as a stopping point.
A lot of people start with 7, and then they make a 6 because they're like, I don't need all those access points, right? And then they stop there, and they did live on a happy and peaceful life.
Because you get so much more pain. I didn't see all of the placements on area. I know that Sergi won it. I know I was 13th because I woke up briefly and saw Mr. Puzzle's solution on stream and thought, well, cool, I'm next, aren't I?
And then you were next, indeed. Cagliari's has never staked the ground for MechA. Straight up shot for the moon.
I do worry about people who shot for the moon. Congrats, Jamu, on 5th. Heck yeah, that's significantly better than... What, is that your best placement in the tournament by a lot, right? Because you got 10th on the cycles
By
puzzle.
half. Yeah.
Well done, Jamu.
Sergi D
popping
was
off.
Icarus. Sergi D flew for the sun instead. Bad choice.
I worked my way towards where I ended up. There's a blog post. I can't say everything. But yeah, it's cool to see a cost solution. This could even be probably faster by including a duplicator, but no, John's like, this is a 40 gold puzzle. 40 gold will give me 7 MechA. Give me that. I'm out. Did I say someone
Sergi
else? I
D
meant
aimed for the
John.
sun and landed in area first place.
Yeah, true.
Alright, next up, Tweedledee. Significantly faster and significantly more expensive.
I was gonna say 40G is probably limiting the speed. We got full access, but tons of dupes and calcs. And a spare bonder in the corner. Oh, interesting. It is not going to spend any of its time on waste because it's able to do everything it needs to do wastelessly.
Yeah, because this has got a duplication and calcification mining field. We're gonna see a
Yes.
lot of those. Tertiaries don't matter. Don't worry about them. It's never gonna matter.
It was funny to hear all the people talking about Grimbot and thinking, if it ever matters that you have 10 gold extra somewhere out in your field, I'm sorry? There is the idea of if you know you don't have to keep a glyph and you can get rid of it and redesign, sure. But if you're just caring about the tertiary, it's not gonna matter.
Who knows? It might. We're gonna have people on an exact same cycle for some reason.
You could tell if that's true.
Are there notes just off, by the way?
There's no notes.
All right. There are people who want to use Grimpot to reduce their tertiaries. Then there are people who use tracks instead of equilibrium for their area solves, for extra area, for their extra
Wasn't MechA originally
wing strike.
created so that track wouldn't count and then they made it count? Because it was originally arm area.
It was arm A, yeah. It was originally arm A, but the implementation actually was mech A, because all the implementation does is remove everything but the
Yeah, the
remove
mechanism
everything
is-
but arms and tracks,
Mhm.
and start simulating it.
I don't know if it would matter, except for the fact that some people considered using track on this. And if you're trying to remove the track, then you can't simulate it because it will have the instruction error.
Mhm.
All right, we are going. I'm just going to move on to the 29th place. Pray for mercy. About 200 cycles faster. Yeah, exactly. Why place a track if the arm won't touch it?
You can
This one
place the
looks like
track
it
under
gets
the
the
arm.
symmetry. There's so much reuse of the calcifiers and duplicators here. It's a very symmetric solve.
Just like that. Top 30 with 7 MA. Yeah, there's just not as much submitters for this week. It's a daunting molecule. It's big. It's chunky.
Grimmy just dropping. I mean, it goes down to 3, right?
Right?
I don't know, Grimmy, did you build it? Just stick around and watch. We'll see what the crazy people of this community actually could make. No, this is my first time looking at the puzzle. Valid. Yeah, honestly. Well, you're at a good stream. You can watch. You have to be patient. Yeah, I thought of mechanism cost back in 2020 when I posed that metric. I thought mechanism cost was cost but easier because you could use extra far field glyphs to make things simpler, and Pentapig ended up using 3 bonders, which is totally valid.
Well, yeah,
Cost
but
but
that's a different
easier
metric.
is mechanism cost. Mechanism area is cost but harder. It's not an area metric at all. It is a harder cost metric because you have movement restrictions once you
see,
start limiting
what
access points.
like the
I mean, we're not at 6 yet.
like my
This is still cost, but easier. There you go.
well, the reason I decided to throw mechanism area for everyone on this community was the high gloss finish, but we'll see how that turned out.
Remember that high gloss finish, it was the you're allowed to do something else and not have to think about this metric at all metric. Like, I told people, if you do get the mechanism cost solve, you kind of just win. But otherwise, this is a sum puzzle. Do some.
True.
To be fair, this puzzle is also easy for mechanism cost. Look at them. They're doing it right now.
That's true. There's that little arm doing everything you need the little arm to do.
All right. Next up.
Oh yeah, the original
place,
metric was some.
Gemu.
Gemu has been talking about how the 7 MechA shouldn't be in the top 30, but here it is.
We considered some for this metric. But then
Yes.
Haxa is like, we have too much sum in this tournament. And then gave us this, blessed us with this metric.
Now, I fully believe that this metric is a high point of the tournament. I know people had a lot of negative opinions, but I have high opinions of this puzzle and this metric.
Thank for the kind words, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know, I liked it. I liked it with my popcorn on the side.
The tournament is not just a competition, it's a content farm, and we got so much fucking content from this puzzle.
I am
Like,
a less benevolent host than
the way I
Haxton
would
is.
describe it is that, but that's probably gonna be spoiler. I'll drop it when we actually get there.
Haxton is a benevolent host. I would not have given a budget on week 6.
Oh, you would have gone raw cycles?
Yep.
Constantly advocated for raw cycles.
I am not a benevolent host. I am evil. I came up with AIG.
Oh yeah, no, you made the puzzle where I tried really hard, enjoyed my result, and then learned in horror that I was 24th place because everyone made a 1p wasteful solve. That's just how it works.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, Murakonda. Almost the same layout.
She made that low effort cycle solve.
Okay.
Or low effort cost solve.
I mean, I wouldn't call this cost. There's extra,
yeah, it's got extra bonders.
And an extra dupe glyph that actually doesn't have to be there.
This is the mechanism cost solve, not mechanism area solve.
Yeah.
True.
Spec's claiming that AIG was the best tournament so far, and you can't change their mind.
Spec is an area, man. That's different.
Yeah, and I remember watching how much better the solutions were than mine that seemed to have a layout where you can touch everything easily, and I just got more and more surprised how good everyone at this game. Question, do you have the collisions disabled right now?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, okay, but you have the option. Cool. Yeah, then this will be a totally good bit of content.
Don't
Like
worry, we're
all
not
I
going to
can
sit
say is
here
that
and
I have
watch the
made
stick
them.
swing by.
Like all I can say is that I have made a monumental left swap judgment when I drop this on you.
Don't worry though, we're not going to see the large swings go by at a frame per minute.
Yeah.
All right, 26th place, Fuyo.
Because
This is.
Oh wow, we're still at
Some-
7.
Yep, this is a pilot.
There's a multi-bonder
seven
solve.
pilot makes sense. It's a cost solve. It's a mech G solve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Everything is nice up here in 7. You get full access, basically everything.
It's possible to do 7 with a piston and have full access without using all your swing space too. I wonder if anyone chose that and if it's better.
Who knows?
No,
Maybe it is just better and we haven't seen it.
This definitely feels like a metric where you pick the number first and then you use the restrictions that that number gives you to suffer through a solution. 7 is a choice that leaves you with something very familiar.
I think 7 is just the result people end up at as well, oftentimes. Because it's a single arm, and a single arm has 7 mecha, and that's where they stop.
Let me read one line from my blog post. Of course, just because an arm has all these access points doesn't mean it needs to use them all. That's it. That's the line.
True.
Access is an outdated concept. RPO 2022.
2022 shit.
Right. Next up, 25th place. 42 cycles faster. No longer breathed in. Beating this on primary would require half-access bonder or debonder. That's probably possible, but I don't wanna.
Arm
Good
area
choice.
is easy, she says, in a title that was made in an external program because it has lowercase letters.
No longer breathe in always uses an external program.
I know, but it's just funny because of how much there was like debate in the community over the week about how like this is encouraging the use of external programs, and that's kind of bullshit. She's like, arm area is easy, and it's obvious that she used an external program. I only ever used modded Opus Magnum for mine, but it was modded. It would be a pain without mods.
Ever since modded came out and I used it for the tournaments, I haven't switched off since. This is why my hours in Opus Magnum, it looks low, but it's actually higher than just 500 hours.
Yeah, this is why my hours in Opus Magnum is only 7,600 instead of the more accurate higher number, which counts modded.
Mods are nice. They're pleasant.
Just remember that Xavion built 70 gold refined bronze using the base game before alt-click existed.
Well, all clicking is a later development.
Alt-clicking was out after refined bronze dropped, and the first 70G, not 60G, but the first min plus 10 solve, which is a single arm and waste, 8,000 cycles, was programmed out by Xavion with no alt-click. it was like a 10 minutes every time that he wanted to check if the next set of instructions worked. So he was doing a lot of mental visualization and not doing a lot of
Yeah.
simulation. Oh, wow.
Oh,
At
this marks the
24th
area,
place,
even though it's
Michigas
not even part of the
Infamous.
metric.
Yep.
So much faster. This is like a full 150 cycles faster. It's
Maybe
building
because-
it in an interesting build order.
Yeah.
Brad, I have 44 hours in Opus Magnum and like 100 in Warp Fuel. Yeah, I definitely spent like 20 hours on this puzzle and my hour count in Opus Magnum did not go up.
I just find it funny how this self marks area when it's not even part of the metric.
It's not part of the metric. You could have placed the equilibriums a little too far out and no one would
They
know.
are.
I'm not about to verify, are you? Pizza
Wonder if
machine.
spiritual shampoo marked his area. He very much could have.
Pizza machine. Isn't that one Opus Magnum player? Pizza
I
Luigi.
have no idea who you're referencing.
Pizza Luigi. There was a player Pizza Luigi.
Oh, there was?
That's fine. That's fine.
All right.
I'm too young for this. Biggie, you're too old.
Next up is 7 mechanism area and 6 mechanism area.
Okay. 7 is gone. 7 is gone, Crab Rave.
Oh, nobody did a piston 7? Damn.
We take long walks at 6. Wow. 3,800 cycles. Are we not using half of the debonder, but it's still placed in the access zone? That's funny.
I mean, it's a convenient place to put it. You don't have to touch it. Just leave
Yeah.
it there.
Half access in the access point range is funny.
Half access debonder when you very much could access this, but you don't need to.
Oh my god, you're stick walking the perimeter of the molecule every direction you take it. Oh my god, that's why this takes so long.
Yeah.
Okay. I respect the stick walking. I respect the journey.
Chickens in the Attic says, I'm so very sorry, and yes, I'm essentially pretending I have half access to a debonder that has both sides right next to the arm, while also having a 0 access duplicator. My previous solution at 7 MechA didn't pretend and was much nicer.
Oh gosh, my stake in the ground 6 just did a fuck ton of waste. This is a wasteless 6 because it's walking around the entire perimeter. I imagine we'll see some wasteful 6s later, but this ant walking one is pretty slow.
It sure was walking. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Don't do waste, kids. It's bad for your health. It's bad for your PC health, maybe. Opus Magnum does not handle large swings very well.
And if the bones are never made to put into that kind of stress test anyway. All right, next up.
MechA isn't better. No.
All right, next up is my playtest.
Oh, your playtest was a 6.
Yes.
Did Shadow Cluster playtest?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I was wondering, like, someone must have gone crazy though.
Oh, it's a piston. Hi, piston.
All right, we got the horsey shape. Horsey access
Everybody
shape.
say hi, Piston.
Hi,
It's
Horsey.
a horsey. Hi, horsey.
Mecha I. Interesting. I would have just made the same solution minus the 6p.
It probably would have been. I don't know. Some of these solutions aren't really 1P-able.
Yeah, fair, fair, fair.
But that could have been an option, yeah.
Haha, Horsey, go burr. If you know the reference, you're
Horsey, go burr.
old. If you know the reference, you were on Reddit back in 2020.
Was that 2020?
I think so.
I might have missed the original reference.
Let me check. Let me check. Haha,
Only
Horsey,
real
go
one.
gallop. It's 2021.
Okay. Yeah,
September,
that's like right when I joined the community.
September 2021, 214 upvotes, which at the time was one of the top posts of all time.
Yeah, and then Zorfax tourney came along, and right before Zorfax tourney, the algorithm popped off for some reason for Opus Magnum.
And then my haha gun post got like 1,700 upvotes. It got more than the refined bronze 32. Just because I made a funny gun. I was gonna say I'm not even American. No, I am American. I'm not even a gun American.
All right. Next up, Cavalier, still Essex.
I'm gonna step away for a sec. My dog's hungry.
Sounds like an anarchy chess meme, lol. Not enough en passant.
What is it doing with?
Things. It's doing things, Paxton. Let it cook. It's doing its best. We're kind of building the molecule en passant. Not yet. No, right now it's more. Right now they're still quite direct.
How do you even build molecule en passant?
You do it in passing.
Thank you, it's very helpful.
I don't know. I think you have to Google it, as the kids say. Why does everybody get that reference?
Right.
Yeah, this is a very interesting way to assemble that output.
Yep.
Like somebody said in the, like Brett said in the chat, it's making waste, but then it's recycling the waste.
Nice. I just got back and I'm seeing some scaffolding using the output. We take that. Oh wow, 42 Genius 42's comment. I like that. You got en passant checkmate. Legend.
You missed the whole anarchy chess gag we had.
Oh god, no. I'm glad I missed that. It's too brain rot for me. I'm 30 now. I'm 30 now. I don't have to put up with that particular flavor of brain rot if I don't want to.
All right. 21st place, Guilty Bystander.
Hey, it's my kind of waste. Let's go. This is very similar to this.
Stick.
This is actually so similar to the
Wait
6 that I made at my start.
This is assembling one atom at a time. Why
Yeah,
is it? Why
my
is this
first 6 was 1 atom at a time. This was perfect. This
Why
is
is
like
this
basically
faster?
I built basically this solve and it was great. It was so easy compared to the shit later on. 1 atom at a time. You have a slappy stick. You duplicate off the slappy stick. It's great. You build what you want to build. It's perfect.
Sometimes you can use a slappy stick for more reach as well. Which is,
This
this
is
puzzle pretends the input is 1 atom. Oh, it doesn't use the slappy stick for
it doesn't
duplication. That's
Yeah.
convenient.
yeah,
Yeah.
it dupes off the stick. It builds 1 atom at a time. It's perfect. This is exactly that. This is the solve. This isn't sauce because sauce is later, but this is the solve. We like it. Thank you, guilty bystander.
And there's 20 more better than this.
There's 19 more of this and then me.
Five MA drop. I don't think we can go to 1 mechanics area.
Oh, you haven't heard of the out arm? It just sits there and then the gripper hovers on the base and pivots menacingly.
I'm sorry, there are no Waldos in Opus Magnum. I wish there were Waldos, they would be nice.
This is already a bit
Where's
chuggy.
Waldo?
Oh yeah, because the stick. It's sticking. The stick is sticking.
I'll read one more line from my blog post as I'm talking about my solution that's very similar to this one. A reasonable person would note that this is slow and has an enormous area. Keep that in mind.
Is it time to press the hotkey? It's not a hotkey though, it's like an entire different setting.
Oh, if the mod's set up correctly, you press F7 to turn off area collision checking right away. As it's running.
F7.
Oh, you can do that?
Yeah, if the mod's
Alright, we
configured
can
for
turn it on. We can turn it on then.
No, it still counts the area. I don't think I have the.
No, it's not turned on currently, so we could probably go turn it on at this point. It's probably not going to affect the other. Just make sure you don't do any tinkering. If you do any tinkering, the game will crash.
Yeah. Next up, random name 7190.
Random Name was in chat just a moment ago saying, I'm in so much pain looking at these 6 designs that are so much easier to build than mine. How did I not think of any of this? Oh, I love the name. I love the name Trust the Process. I don't know if it's a reference, but I've at least called a puzzle Trust the Process before.
He writes, to be perfectly honest, I also don't know how the duplication and calcification works here. I put all the atoms in place in the fastest way I could find, then added as few duplicators as would make all the requires waters wet, which had the unintended side effect of making the molecule basically completely water. Then placed a single calcifier in the hole in the output, and it basically perfectly separated into waters and salts. I definitely
Water sure
think
is
that
wet.
it's possible to get lower on mechanical area. 5 seems incredibly reasonable. And there's probably an obnoxious amount of bricking that leads to a 4. But I'm not really good at bricking, and I also don't have a lot of time for this week, so this is what I got. It's air, not
Water.
water.
That
but
sure is water.
Water. Everyone in chat, water. It sure is the wettest output I've ever seen.
Hey, maybe they live in a rainforest and the air is wet.
Random name, shut up. No, I do appreciate that this is a very cool output with a lot of water in it. There's a bit of syrup in the end. Like the last set of atoms are attached at distance 3 from the arm.
Oh yeah, this is very syrupy. Syrup.
You
I'm going to have
gotta
water in
love
it.
you gotta love stranding a pair of atoms far away from the arm. One of them just broke off a debonder, and the other one's sitting there on a bonder, like, "Don't worry, I'm coming back."
Don't
Right
worry,
here where
I'll get
Haxton's pausing
you.
it. Yeah, there's that syrup tech right there.
We've been calling it rescuing in this puzzle.
Oh, that makes sense. I've been calling it rescuing at some points, but it is a flavor of syrup, and my blog post calls it a flavor of syrup.
Yeah, syrup tends to be like closer by. Some of these are not very close by.
No, they are not. When you get to have extra bonders and debonders, because it's MechA and not just G, you can rescue from pretty far away.
Right. Next up, Barrel Duck.
It's not syrup tech if it's not in the lustrous syrup puzzle. It's just sparkling rescue.
They write, I think Mecha 6 is at min. Reducing it with only one arm would mean you cannot reach atoms from the other side without pre-bonding them, which is too complicated for me. Using 2 arms would mean only 3 actual hexes to work with, and 1 arm can only pivot. All in all, area and mech area are my least favorite metrics for now, but I am all the more excited to see what is actually possible if you know what you are doing.
This is another stick walker, but just somehow faster.
This
Well,
is
it's not
chicken.
exactly walking a stick.
It's Chickens in the Attic attempt strat, but it does do much more atom attached at once.
Yeah.
Well, not much more. This is very similar to Chickens in the Attic solve, now that I'm watching it walk around the output here.
It's doing the walk again. It's moving. It's walking already.
There's a lot more duplicators and calcifiers, so that'll probably help.
Have you seen any pistons apart from Haxton yet, by the way?
No.
And the like 20-something MechA solve had a piston, but
Oh, at 6 mecha.
yeah, no, just Haxton.
This has a fancier build order to do less walking. I see.
Yeah, it's doing a lot more calcifying and duping, which is what lets it have that fancier build order, because then it's only doing geometry instead of having to atom match every time it adds an atom, which means more walking. Genius says that he has the sauce for 6. Honestly, the most annoying thing about 6 mechanism area programming is when I have to go from the leftmost access point to the rightmost access point, and it takes 4 rotates instead of 2. Like, that hurt my soul, even though it's so minor. The good thing about dropping to 5 is that you're always going to do the optimal movement from one point to the other. 6 has that one little pain point of, oh yeah, you just kind of go the long way for that one for only the reason of the metric.
Alright. Next up,
Make
JP.
sure you don't use the return button and accidentally get 6.
Copyright
Not 6,
down.
7.
Oh yeah, piston.
Piston, also minus 600 cycles.
Down, okay. The power of the piston. This is going by rather quickly.
Oh, this has so much fix-up at the end, though. Wow. Like, random name mentioning, like, oh, I don't know how the calcifier worked out. This one forced it to work out.
This one built the shape, and then was like, yes, I'll fix it later.
It's also half-access bonder, full-access debonder. That's interesting.
Oh, this is using the V-shape. V-shape plus a tumor. Is there no better way to dupe and calc all this? It's spending so much time fixing it in post.
There's probably ways that are better, but JPIV did not optimize cycles, according to JPIV.
Yeah. I think the issue is that the duplication glyphs keep accidentally duplicating everything.
Oh my god, wait, does the no
Yeah,
area counting
right.
thing not work with the MechA mods? Now it's just showing the arm and this original starting point. That's funny.
All right.
Oh
JPip
wow, we can
writes,
tell it's 5. Wait, no, we can tell it's 6 because of the way it is. Alright.
like JPip writes in all caps, why is it so hard to copy and sort correctly? I should have never done this. Half of these cycles are probably unnecessary. That's a
All caps. You know how you mean it.
We just look at the arm finagling it, trying
yeah.
its best, while the duplication keeps deleting its progress. This is so sad.
No, stop. No, don't do that. No, stop. Live calcifier
JPM is
reaction.
hurting duplication glyphs.
I guess it's live duplicator glyph reaction. I do like piston. Piston cool.
One must imagine the piston happy.
Pistifus. Wait, no, that's not great. Don't. I'm sipping water.
Right. Next up, X Soccer Triple 8. Air 8. Who writes, you could probably solve this with 3 mechanism area, but I don't even want to think about that. Another piston.
Yeah, half access debonder. We got full access bonder this time.
Half axis debonder. Oh, it is half axis. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, this is even half access in the traditional sense.
We're back to Horsey. Everyone say hi, Horsey.
Hi, Horsey. Horsey, go gallop. Genius saying, wow, I actually did better on MechA than area. For once, I did more time on the metric I did better on. I think I did better in MechA than area, but I'm not 13th yet.
We shall see.
Bonder access seems so much more useful than unbonder access. I guess if you're building it one atom at a time, bonder access is the more useful one. If you're building it by like scaffolding on the output, then unbonder access is the more useful one. And I think we've seen merits of both.
Alright, next up.
I mean,
Crazy
this
Bot
is half the
27.
bonder.
Crazybot, the trackless cycles main, who also does tournament puzzles.
What do you mean 7 is a min?
Oh, we got another waste stick. But this one seems to be breaking off 2 atoms per use, so it doesn't have to use any duplicators. That's so cool. Oh, this is so cool. I love this. Oh, this is actually very satisfying. Just out here gushing.
Who needs duplication?
Well, you have 21 atoms in the output, so it is a little awkward to try to make 2 at a time and have an odd number come out, but you see the 3 atoms stuck to it.
Just 3 atoms going bye-bye.
This does have an access point on nothing. This could have full access Critelli, and it could have a Critelli MechA spot, which is a little rough, but it's a very clean 6.
Crazybot writes, my thoughts after I got Mecha 7. Yay, I got Min. Wait. Oh dear god, no. Very good metric, I like it. Every input goes through a bonder debonder that breaks off an air salt pair and adds the remaining salt to a waste chain. This let us construct a large output 2 atoms at a time. However, the output has an extra air. To add this extra atom, we instead add 4, then debond the XX3 to be carried away with the waste. At some points, the waste chain gets terrifyingly close to colliding with the product, but thankfully it doesn't. Unfortunately, I had to 6p this soap since there are 4 cycles of setup at the start. I think Mecha 5 is almost certainly possible, but I'm not surprised that I could not find it.
Mecha
Yeah,
5 is still within reasonable territory.
This shows that a zero access debonder is fine, so Mecha 5 is therefore fine, as long as you have a layout which doesn't require you to pass over an unusable access point.
This looks so close to Mecha 5 because it's just one access point with nothing on it.
Yeah. But it's a very pretty 6, and it's 16th place. I mean, if we go back in the spreadsheet to see like what kind of placement 16 solves were in the previous puzzles, they're already good.
Yeah.
I just saw in the Discord that Trixie pinged random name.
Oh yeah, I know. I saw
water, water, and water, and water.
I was trying so hard not to laugh at that.
I just checked the Discord, and that's what I first see. It's great. Water.
All right. Next up, who claimed he had sauce? 42 Genius 42.
How saucy is 15th place?
MAA?
He writes
10, 11.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is this Horsey?
He
It is
writes,
Horsey. Hi, Horsey.
I suspect there may be ways to have 5 or lower mech area, but I don't know how at time of writing.
"16th place in week 1 had primary tie with first." Yeah, that's true, wasn't it? Oh wow, the calcification duplication in this happens so quickly.
It just does so conveniently.
It's like JPIV didn't have to suffer.
We're just dissing on everyone's solves now, are we?
I mean, JPIV mentioned that he didn't optimize, so
I thought this was a supportive community.
I would like to read Genius's title in the way that he intended for it to be read. It is better to be pissed off than pissed on. Very Brish. Very, very Brish.
It still goes quite a bit faster than this at 6. Sounds like GUI has a 6. Or had a 6. Who knows?
Yes, there is a faster solve multiple in Mech 6.
A scoring solve?
Next one is a scoring solve. Mr. Puzzle.
Alright. Oh, Mr. Puzzle with
Mr.
the 6.
Puzzle has 6?
Well, I do remember Mr. Puzzle's approach to latch hook fireworks being zero access everything. Jesus Christ. I think I'll settle for sub.
Oh, this is a new layout in terms of MechA, though.
Oh wow, full-length piston.
This is more
it's a full-length
traditionally
piston
syrupy.
plus 2 axes. Yeah. It's also got a tri-bonder. We've seen tri-bonders, but it's been a while.
This is the Big Dipper.
Yeah.
Oh, and as soon as it bonds the last atom, everything's already correct. That's some good work.
Alright, he says, I think there was too much spoilery talk this week. This is almost twice as fast as my vessel. Mecha equals 5 could be possible with indirect debonding or something. But lots of people were lamenting about getting their solution run to completion. Or that they take up a lot of area. Why would that be? Waste atoms, I bet, right? Because with scaffolds and indirect access, even Mecha equals 3 could be a possibility. But I couldn't figure out how to actually
I like how that rhymed.
Great.
I like how that rhymed. Mecha 3 is a possibility.
With so much translational movement, it seems probably easier to keep the calcifiers and duplicators under control. Chat wishing that there hadn't been so much spoiler talk in the chat. That's reasonable. I think.
Yeah, there really shouldn't have been. All of those complaints should have been Haxton's DMs.
I tried to stay sharp until the last day, but by the last day I could read the room and decide, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be egregious by saying spoilers.
Alright, this is the fastest scoring 6 MechA. Next up, Mr. Royal Spade.
Oh boy. Welcome to 5 in 13th place.
He says,
All right.
this is my
Oh
first
boy.
working solution.
What is this?
Right. He says, this is my first working solution with some minor tweaks. Shooting for 5 seemed like the obvious choice, and while there were some road bumps, working backward meant that I had this knocked out in a few hours. I'm honestly not sure if sub 5 is possible. I'd imagine so, but I guess the amount of time needed to get a working solution gets absurd if you don't have a full access bonder. Good job to anyone who figured out 4, and if 3 is by some miracle possible, an extra good job to you. This is a phenomenal metric. I loved playing around with it. If people chose to shot for sub 5, I can imagine it being more painful, but this was incredibly enjoyable for me. Made this with no external tools, just good old fashioned dragging a copy of the instructions to the end.
He mentions in chat 1199 is the cycle to fast forward to. It
I
seems
have
to
no
be
idea where that is.
It seems to be 6ping, so you just alt click and then once it's near 1199 you're good. Oh, that's so good. That's the reason you use the
So a good place to start.
instructions map. You can see the visual difference between repeats and actual work.
Yeah.
Oh my god, mods are so cool these days.
We love mods. Thank you, Mr. Puzzle and Luna.
So we make a stack. I imagine this stack has enough material on it to keep a backbone and then pull off 22 atom clusters and use them 21 at a time to make an output.
Atom clusters, the long-lost cousin of Shadow Cluster.
Oh, and it sticks it back to the stick. Oh my gosh, I'm happy. Ah, this feels so satisfying to watch go. I guess if it's 11 cycles to add a new input to the stack, then 1199 means that it added 109 inputs to the stack, and it's only making 6 products, so it gets 18 inputs per product. 18 is more than enough, so all that stuff that just went on the end is true waste, and it eventually has enough to make the output. That's really cool. That's really cool.
It's doing it again.
Yeah, no, it repeats that process. It's using 18 inputs to make the output, and it's using just a little bit of waste to make some movement possible, but it's mostly just using waste as waste. This reminds me so much of Mist of Dowsing 40G. Sergi D claims 5 is easy, 4 is possible, 3 is in fucking sane. We claim 4 is possible. That's cool. We're on 5.
It'll be funny if we just keep on seeing 5 all the way down.
Mr. Royal Spade, all that waste is to get an odd number. So true. So that is the amount of effort it takes to get odd numbers so that you can finish out the even number for the rest. Ah,
I find it funny how Sergiti's message of "to it" turned into a link. It's outputting. It's gonna do it. It's gonna do it. It's gonna do it. There we go.
All right. Next up is playtest by Shadow Cluster.
Shadow Cluster's playtest was a 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
This community.
I mean, we knew the possibility of a 3, but we were like, yeah, leave that to the wizards.
I thought Shadow Cluster was the Wizards.
Well, there's also the fact that this is a last-minute puzzle, but like, you know.
Yeah, that was probably it. Yeah.
Otherwise, this is very much up Shadow Cluster's alley, actually.
Yeah, I was trying to find where in chat Shadow Cluster had first mentioned ARM area, and I couldn't find any Discord posts. However, I figured that this was like a Shadow Cluster brainworm that had finally seen the light of day.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely is. Look, it's so easy.
It's cool that it makes this giant 2-high stick.
This makes 5 Mecha look so easy.
Shadow Cluster had shown a couple of solves where Bonder access was required, and so they looked a lot more sane. Yeah, that's fair. In this case, we have a 3-atom input, so no access is needed. You can do everything.
Yeah, this looks easy. 5 Mecha would look even easier as we go on and make it faster.
Chat out here trying to predict who has the lowest primary, and I'm just amused that like Rebix and Kali are good chances. Shampoo probably has it.
Me knowing the answer to all these questions.
Yep.
Azuri Paw.
Azuri paw emoji.
Azuri Paw emoji. There it is. It's in the chat now. Azuri Paw's in the chat.
Zorflax not knowing is better. Yeah. Oh wait, I can also send it, can't I?
No, unless you subscribe to
No.
me on Twitch.
I only had like a 1 month to. I didn't have a continued subscription. I'm sorry, Bist. I haven't watched your Twitch stream in like 2 years.
I also haven't streamed in 2 years. Maybe I
Whatever
have
the last time is you hosted a weekly.
Alright, next up, Kazian at 12th place.
Kazian's 5 MechA. I think that started to be teased in chat, and he mentioned that he's next.
Well, we're not pisting it. We're not pistoning anymore.
The what is the solution? Okay, there's some stranded atoms.
That's the
interesting stranded atoms right there. It's stranded waste, all right. Our last remaining person with only top 10 placements.
Kazian says, "You are smoking that mist of hallucination if you think I'm doing this without access to both sides of a clip of bonding. So MechA 5 is what you get. I don't care that you can use 500 of them. At some point you need to pivot atoms around and actually build the molecule, instead of hand-waving about things that scaffolding could theoretically do." This is like operating a Ouija board with your feet on stilts. This is like playing with a ball in a cup with your hands tied behind your back and drunk. This is like doing calligraphy in a tornado with a beehive on the side of your face. And if you get stung, you have to start all over. Anyway, beat the waist strings.
Can you read those comparisons again? I want to type them out into my blog post.
Kazi can probably
gonna
copy
send them.
paste them into Discord.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, just into Discord.
It's like operating an Ouija board with your feet on stilts. I want to type those out. Thank you. Thank you.
I've sent it via DM.
Yep. I love Kazian. Thank you for your words. Kazian, do I have your permission to quote that whole thing in the blog post? All right. It's so shaped.
And then there's a waist chain to the side that's making steps. What are you doing, step waist chain?
No, don't say that. Fuck you.
Right, next up, Ebonov. He writes.
Ebenov was saying something about how, like, yeah, their solution was in the output buffer for a while, keeping it a secret.
I mean, it's 11th place.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good, isn't it? Ebenov also has the 2nd place area, so.
Mm.
It was 5 cycles off Sir GD.
I'm glad 42 was min. I thought 41, once I saw 42s could happen, that you could just put a hole in the middle, but
It's hard. I mean, there are 42s, but there are 42s with a hole in the middle, but it's the other slide.
yeah. I had the other slide and no holes, so 44, the sane stopping point.
No, you had the rights. You had the small slide. You
I
just
had the small slide,
extra,
and then I added another bonder that made the big slide's footprint.
It was in the big slide's footprint, but you didn't complete a big slide.
Nope. Yeah. I worked backwards and thought, I'm going to need these 2 hexes anyway. Oh well. Also, yeah, this is completely wasteless, so I love this area count. It's 42 area, just like the winning solve. I know it's not actually 42. I know it's not actually 42, but it's 42.
It's 42 glyph area. Yes.
Ebenov actually planned, knew that we would be viewing this solution with the area calculations turned off, and made it 42 area for us.
Yippee!
Ebonov says, if you use a debonder to split a molecule into 2, and both are within the arm's reach, it's pretty much full access. The dipper shape makes it quite convenient to coloring. Just one dupe and a half ring is right colored. Throw in a few more glyphs to deal with the odd elbow and it's done.
Yeah, this is so fast. It does things so quickly. And it gets faster, I think.
Sir GD claiming 20 hours on this shit. Yeah, I spent 20 hours on this shit as well. It's a lot of time investment. I kind of overpromised my time, but I'm happy, and I'm sorry that you might not be.
It's Sir GD got 1st place.
Well, yeah, Sir GD got 1st place in area. You're so good.
It's just not this metric.
Right, Sir GD submitted area a week ago and then spent the rest of the time on MechA.
Yeah.
Ouch. Ouch.
Alright, next up.
We love insert whip noises.
Well, Sargity has been DMing me about how painful this metric is.
Oh yeah, we'll see. We'll see the pain. We'll see the pain soon.
He writes, this metric's got me implementing a no-access full-access debonder.
Oh my god, that debonder is no access and it's behind the arm in the no access zone.
Access is an outdated concept. We don't need access. It's so fast though. It just does what it's need and what it needs and it's done.
Alright. Next up, GUI. Still at 5 mech area. They say, my first experiments got down to 7, then 6 pretty quickly. My best 6 being both fast, just over 900 cycles, and cheap, 160 guilders. I have submitted it as a showcase in case it is of interest. After a few days of working on area, I revisited the problem and almost immediately found the layout that makes 5 possible. I had already discovered the incredible usefulness of pistons for this metric when building the 6, and they are required for this no-access debonder setup as far as I can tell. In fact,
Pistons are strong.
After a little research, I realized that Shadow Cluster had already demoed this layout in an ARM ASOL for explosive file to great effect. I felt very proud to have figured it out myself, as well as the final bonding sequence, which is not immediately obvious. Out of paranoia caused by this week's Discord discussion, I spent Friday and Saturday investigating whether a 4 was possible using waste. I reluctantly concluded that there just wasn't enough access points available to make it work. I could be about to take the world's biggest L on this, continuing the theme from week 4, but I choose to believe.
Biggiest. Thank you.
I think we've already reached the point where there's more min area solves than min mech area solves.
Alright, next up. Surgery. Sorry.
Why? It's only 1403 cycles. Oh, but this is because Sergi gave up on 4. I see. So not the time was not spent on this solves. This time was spent on
Yes, the
an
potential
improvement.
better solve. Yeah.
Yeah. Sergi said my backup got 8th. Yeah.
He writes, untested, unplayable metrics shall not belong to an alchemy tournament. A. Rabari. Had to give up my 4 mecha solution after sinking 15 hours on it, because changing anything to fix the issues I was encountering took 1 hour minimum to get to the point I was before. That solution bonded 6 products, missing 1 full input per hex. The products could theoretically be debonded, but I couldn't find a layout that worked, so I had to scrape the whole solution to leave time to submit anything at all. It would have been 4 mecha 4k cycles. I ruled out 3 mecha, but maybe it's possible IDK. I am certain this 5 mecha is by no means the fastest, and probably the build method of my failed 4 mecha attempt was faster, but I had no extra time to test anything. Future hosts, please refrain yourselves from this kind of bullshit. I have spent more time on this metric than on the first 2 weeks combined. I put my trust in you, push it as far as I can go. For all this, there's only one thing you should know. I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end it doesn't even matter. Linkin Park.
Yes. I put my trust in you.
For someone who's Zorflex saying, for someone whose time on this puzzle was mostly spent in vain, Sergi D had a fantastic weight of 8th place and 1st place. All that time was worth it, right? Right?
Well, all I can say is that I probably made a lot of enemies this week.
Don't worry, it's a rite of passing for a tournament host. I did that on my 2nd week.
Alright, 7th place. Fiesta, fixed impost.
We're still in 5 MA, by the way.
Hmm.
Look at it. It's so small.
Fiesta says,
The last time we saw a solve with this low a cycle count was at MechA 21. Huge cycle drop.
Fiesta says,
Oh wow, the halves. Okay.
this new metric put me very much in a cost mindset because the entire question is access points, with no consuming glyphs required and a multi-atom input. Theory says we only need 2. We need to access input and output, and literally all else can be done remotely. This sets a theory min mecha of 3. But as with all new metrics, I need to iterate in order to understand it. I began the easy way with half access debonder and full access bonder and mecha 6. That showed me some ideas, and I soon built this mecha 5 with full bonder access. Unfortunately, I did not see a method for achieving 4 until Friday, and I did not have time to program it to completion. I am certain it is possible though. I suspect a few wizards will show us true min at 3, but I cannot fathom how to approach it. Here's hoping I get another crack at this metric someday. And yeah, to have
The flat ring
building
to
method is
hexagon
extremely
restructure is
powerful.
sweet. Yeah. The ring inflation. I'm surprised we
You're
haven't plunged into the deep end yet.
at 7th place, and you're at 5 MechA, and it's not even an ugly 5 MechA. It's a very clean and beautiful 5 MechA. I think that because this is so clean and beautiful, that what's next has to be ugly again, right? That's how this whole stream process works.
We're gonna see.
Oh yeah.
6th place, all of us. 5 mech areas.
Oh,
Wow. All of us got 6th place. Yippee!
we did it. Yeah, no. They're
No,
saying
we're
in
not done
chat.
with 5.
They're saying in chat that they saw that cycle drop and were very sad because they thought that they had a winner. Not done with 5 yet.
Wow, this is significantly more cursed. What is this?
This is just 2 of what Fiesta did at the same time.
I see. Oh,
It's
wow, look
still
at that.
so pretty. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I love that. 1 fix instead of 2. It does have more calc and dupe problems than Fiesta's, so I think there's even probably a potential for better just on calc and dupe. Calc and dupen. What was that, like Kazian's Critellium solve talking about the river of calc and dupen? Or it wouldn't have been Critellium, that's a metal solve, but it's like something calc and dupen.
Alright, they write, this is a straightforward construction pad. Most of the work went into getting the salt air right. Unfortunately, I have to turn around the alpha molecule to calcify 2 of the air atoms, so I lose a few cycles doing that. MechA is a coastline metric in what matters is the number of access points. My analogy is MechA to cost is area to Bestival. This particular construction path does not go below MechA 5. However, I'm not doing any input suppression, and such a large input is easy to suppress, so it feels like MechA 4 should be possible. The difficulty is that you have lower access to the bonder, so wanding is forced. I could not get wanding to work even in MechA 5, so my attempts at MechA 4 were nowhere close. I don't think MechA 3 can be done, but I couldn't disprove it.
Shall we move on then?
Sure.
Shall we move on?
Sure. Next up, 5th place. Revix. There's no Mech 4.
Holy shit!
Nobody got Mech. Well, Biggie got Mech 4.
Oh my god, that's so fucking cursed. Oh my god. Everyone who got 4 got 3. I made a Mecha 4 with 145k area and then proceeded to get a 3. Revix did Mecha 3 with a fucking piston.
I mean, what's stopping you?
The title is Be Careful
This is
What
why
You Wish
Spirit-
For.
This is why Spiritual Shampoo says it's like an instruction solve. It's doing it as if it's an instruction solve, but instead of track, it's a piston pushing a waste stick.
It's funny because when I DM'd Haxton, I had said, okay, I'm done at 4. I'm not going to keep working at 4. And then I worked on 3. And the first thing I said was, well, shit, 3 isn't much harder than 4.
Yeah, that's what everybody at 4 thought. Well, I mean, you were the only one at 4, so that's still true, but...
Everyone who thought 4 thought, wow, 3 isn't much harder. Now that I'm doing 3, I learned what I've done. Oh my god, Revix's solve is 705,000.
Look at it, looks like it's printing it.
Oh my god, you've been sitting on this reveal because you all knew.
We did.
No, I tried 4 twice. I made a big 4 that failed, like Sergi, and then I made a different 4 that succeeded.
Oh yeah, and Revix saying the solve is on the 5th tape loop in 700,000 area. It is estimated to be like twice that area.
It sure is doing things. We can see the output is right there. Oh, I think it's trying to pull it back now. It's trying to fish the output back. It's fishing. It's fishing for it. It's coming back. Well, I mean, we assumed 3 mecha might be possible as soon as Rebek said, I'm gonna do this puzzle.
I assumed 3 was possible as soon as Rebek said dubious.
Yeah.
I can't
That's what we
believe
thought as
that
well.
Rebek did this with a piston.
It's not the only one. I don't know if it's really that much difference of access points, piston versus just
I guess because you can pivot.
an arm, because there's nothing useful in those
Well,
access
mine
points.
is min MechG and min MechA. Okay.
There's 2 things in the access points, the input and the output. And having the arm not in the middle of them gives you a lot more pivoting space.
The hardest part about MechA 4 and 3 is reeling in the output from your scaffolding, because you have placed so many glyphs in the world. You need to be able to reel it in without hitting glyphs that ruin the connection and the output. I found that
Well, this has a lot of degrees of freedom to reel it in, though.
Yes,
oh, and
that's
also
true.
the reason Surgery found it so utterly painful. This would run like 1 frame per second if it weren't for the collision patch.
1 frame per second? Damn, that's optimistic.
Rebek's talking about quality of life tech. I don't know. I might
but
win.
You can't have it without. But you need the area calculations while you solve it.
I know. Like
And this is why this
my
is
my solution is nice compared to this.
And this is why this was such a monumental lapse of judgment on my side.
Okay, the thing is, you can have more than 1 molecule on the board because of rescuing. That's why you need a check. Same number of people got min mecha primary and min HPC secondary.
Extreme. That's cursed.
I don't know. I feel like one of those feels significantly easier than whatever this bullshit is. Oh, and we're doing it again. Lovely.
All right. I think we've seen the idea of this solve. I think we can.
Yeah.
Move on. Yeah.
We can move on.
Next up, Spiritual Shampoo, who also has about approximately 900 word solution note, which is just a ASCII word art of how the solution works. I'm going to post that in the chat.
This does basically the same thing as Rebek's solve does, but better. By an order of a magnitude. No, just about half. 2 times faster. The overlap isn't hard for new players, it's just inaccessible. Well, at least overlap is hard to new players. Dear commentators, how do you secondary optimize? You break your solution and do it all over again better. Yeah, we can slow it down now. We can see the slappy stick going back and forth, just building the output.
Also, piston is actually using piston to move molecule. in this case, the slappy stick.
I mean, Sergi D, you're looking at the complicated, you're looking at the complicated 3 mecha solves. It gets easier from here. Yeah, there is 1,000 words of notes, Zorflax. That's the link Haxton sent. He's
That's
not
the
reading it.
yeah. That's the
You
pastebin link
wouldn't
I posted.
understand it if you read it. You wouldn't understand it if you read it out either. I can attempt to read it. It says
S S S S A S S S S S S A S S S S
It's
S
salts and airs and
S
bonds between
A
them.
S S A S A S A
Air,
entirely made
salt,
of like
salt.
A S and what was it? Slash backslash.
Airs and
Put it into
salts.
TTS, boss. It'll be like S S S S S A S S A S S backward slash forward slash backward slash forward slash backward slash forward slash. I'm not continuing that.
All right.
Shaking that ass.
Next up is Coco 52, about 1,000 cycles faster than this one.
Okay, cuckoo on the podium. This is a very cuckoo on the podium kind of metric. Let's go.
Simply writes,
Oh,
what a great metric.
what
I
is
loved
that?
it.
Cuckoo loved it. Yes, yes.
I don't know if that's sarcasm or genuine, but
I think this is exactly the kind of bullshit Cuckoo is so known for, and I love that.
Cuckoo is the kind of person who does not object to doing extract only on the most complicated puzzles.
All right, Callie, you and me, Callie. Who is it?
What is this stick? What is
This looks like my solve. This looks like the process where you build a worm. The worm has to be 3 atoms thick at all points, but you can have all sorts of bends in both directions on it. And the perimeter of the worm can be the product. So you just break off that and then stick the product back on. At some point, yeah, he did exactly that thing. This is the method. You make a worm, you break off those 12 atoms, and then you add a new stick to it so that you can attach the rest of the atoms so that you make the full product. And then you reel it back in and you output it. Although it appears that Cuckoo might be
with this
6Ping. I'm okay, he's finally reeling it back in. He had a lot of walking before he reeled it back in.
We caught an output. Look at it.
Yeah. You make a worm and you fish. The hardest part about this is separating the output in a way that doesn't add new wrong bonds on the way in. I took a different approach than Cuckoo did for that. So we'll see. I think mine ends up saving a really significant number of cycles, but we'll see.
Can't say nobody ever complained about RI ever again, by the way. Yeah,
Cuckoo
RI
got
just
second in
required
Latch Hook
a
and
slight bit
Callie
of scrolling.
Actually, did Spiritual Shampoo have ADG and Latch Hook? Because it seems like the top 5 here are all the insane people who will do the restricted cost stuff.
No, that was Rebix.
Rebix did, Callie did, I did, and okay. Cuckoo didn't?
Oh, no, Latch Hook, right, yeah.
Latch Hook,
no,
yeah. Latch Hook was the other 0 access
warp
everything.
Fuel. Yeah, I was thinking Warp Fuel.
Alright. Next up, at second place. His
Drum
Calyrises.
roll.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. I win this bullshit.
Okay, you know what? Funny thing is, you were not in first place when I said Biggie is the esoteric metric main.
Oh no, I still had my 4 when that was true. I came back on Friday and made the winning solution.
I know. But it was funny how I said Biggie is the esoteric metric main, and you took that personally.
I was like, sure, I guess I'm not done yet. Wait, you're building the... Oh god, this is exactly how my 4 started. My 4 started with this exterior build order, and then it has to break it from the middle.
Yeah,
I built a 4 like this, and it was worse.
Yeah, Calyrises
output
first builds
but it encased
this
in a
lump
shell.
of molecule, and then unboxes the completed
And then
product from this lump.
Yeah, just build it with a shell and then unpeel it. It's that easy.
Yeah, this is very much how I built my 4 that didn't complete.
Look, it's unpeeled. It's right there. We can output it now. No reeling. So convenient. Just a bit of reeling as a treat.
So convenient, as it then proceeds to take 300 cycles to get output.
300 cycles. That's better than like 1,000.
My 3 was faster than my 6.
Amazing.
Alright, Calyrises says, I enjoyed figuring out how to get mint primary, but secondary optimizing is a bit tedious. Getting a working 3 mecha solution was similar in difficulty to a hard coast puzzle, but optimizing cycles is a lot more work since the solution space of layouts is much larger with infinite glyphs allowed. For this method, optimizing comes down to trial and erroring the glyph placement, to minimizing the necessary stick length and streamline the waste management. Using longer sticks makes placing bonders and debonders much easier at the cost of cycles, since it reduces the number of different positions the same glyph can activate. If I work more on this metric, I will probably focus on trying entirely different methods.
Calyrises enjoyed MechA so much that he wanted to make more by iterating through other methods.
I built my 6 MechA and then a failed 4 and then fresh redesign with a real 4 and then fresh redesign with a 3. So I spent my time on this. I'm happy.
It paid off.
It paid off.
All that experience made your solution fast.
This is not an area puzzle. This is a cost puzzle, and this is a restriction puzzle, and I got that thing down.
But area is in the metric name. It's an area puzzle in our hearts. Biggie is our favorite area main.
I'm glad I wasn't listening to chat and the stream when the area metric was being shown, because I saw people in chat saying like, oh, I'm poking Biggie about being an area main, and I'm like, I have my eyes and no ears at this moment.
All right.
Okay, Zorflax, I accept the heart emoji at least. I accept the heart emoji. I just don't accept the claim of area main.
And at long last, our first place, Biggie.
Biggie, I'm gonna need you to playtest my area puzzles.
Are you going to read the? Do you want to read the notes yourself, or should I read it?
I'll read my notes. Yeah, let me open up the site so I can read my notes from the
Look
source.
at that cycle count. That's faster than a lot of 7 mecha solves.
Yeah, I got something fast. All right, notes. I called myself done with this puzzle after spending at least 12 hours making a 4 mecha solve. That was a very painful ordeal. I didn't believe 3 was actually doable, since I didn't see a way to exchange positions of pieces in their order around the arm. With 4, you could build a C and drop it off on the left grab point, pick it up on the right grab point. So I got it out of 4, put the puzzle down, and tried to walk away. I said I was done. But the solution title is Broken Promises. I came back on Friday to try 3 just a little, and it wasn't much harder than 4. In fact, this has far better cycles and area than what I had made previously. I did learn a lot from the previous attempts. I learned about the very specific ways I need to consider bricks and vectors. I sampled every flavor of syrup under the sun. I was much more aware of the big picture, so I wasn't hasty placing glyphs in the near field. In fact, the only glyph in the same zip code as the arm is the one that fires first. Thanks to insights from the Painful 4, this took one sitting of around 6 hours. 2 of those hours were spent entirely on just rescuing the waste chain after output. I found a way that added about 23 cycles per tape loop to make a reachable handle, and then I 6P'd it to save those 23 cycles on the last loop. Because if I'm over-promising effort this week, I got a full commit. Now I'm done. It's very similar to Cuckoo's. It breaks off the exact same 12-atom chunk. And then it rescues it with pieces that make an output. The difference here is that it breaks off the output far out of range of the arm, and then rescues it with the stick so that it only has a single point of access to the output, so it will not make new wrong bonds on the way in, which does make the process of outputting very quick and convenient. And I get to start the next product without caring about the waste chain. I get pretty far into the new product before I actually have to interact with the waste at all.
This is linear waste as well.
Yep. This would
Calories
1P
has-
just fine.
Yeah, calories has had circular waste.
Yeah, this 1P is just fine, but I saved 23 cycles, so it's a tape loop, 4 repeats, and then a tape loop with 23 of it things removed. I am very proud of this.
You should be. Look at it.
Three is possible. I doubted 3 is possible. My blog post actually is going to have way more talk about 4 than anything from the stream, because no one did a 4. My blog post
You
is going to
did a
have
4?
so many thoughts about 4. And then it's going to talk about how those helped me make the 3. So cool. Yeah, I'm gonna drop my blog post now that I know the results. This ran. I have a video on my phone of me watching my screen as this runs to completion. It does complete with collisions enabled. I know it's 42,993 area because I
Oh
ran
yeah,
it.
I've seen that video. It's funny.
I have a separate video of my 4 that was 145,000 area. I watched the last of those cycles too. I just set my computer up, had dinner, came back and watched the last few cycles because I came in at the right time. I wanted to know the area count. I
The
learned
answer is
afterwards that the
big.
site could have told me that anyway.
Rebix didn't tell us that. Rebix's solve took too long and it didn't tell us the area count. As of now, we have it listed as 9999999.
An underestimate.
Probably. No, it depends on the number of 9s.
Maxed out the area counter like in NES Tetris. Are we gonna stick around and watch it make the last output with 6P?
Sure, why not?
Sure.
You stopped it.
Never mind. We don't have to. It's not that different. It just there's a spot where it builds a lot of stuff and it stops building the stuff right here.
All right. So yeah, that's the week 5 puzzle. Week 6 we are going to return to more saner metrics.
Paxton was nice to you all on week 6. We already discussed this. People saying good riddance. MechA will return, but next time MechA returns, the min will probably not be 3 MechA. Because it's very easy to just
it's easy to
introduce
force
necessary
accessing
glyphs.
Bonder glyphs, etc.
Well, not really on bonders, but you could definitely force accesses on glyphs. Like if you put in a what is it called again? An animismus, and that's like 6 mecha minimum.
All right, week 6, bulk transmutation. Input and the output.
I say 6 mecha minimum, more like 8 mecha minimum, because input output as well.
So yeah, it turned out that it is another Burlo puzzle. But yeah, this is
We love Burlo. We still love Burlo after week 1, right everyone?
So the metrics is TI and cycles, but there's a catch. On TI, your area must be finite. Your area must be finite on the finite and infinity, and your rate must be finite at infinity. So you need to output continuously, and you need to keep the area finite. Cycles, there's a budget, and the budget is 1,000 cost. So yeah, that's it. Budget
My girlfriend
cycles.
just messaged me, "You're rewarded for obsessive building behavior." Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's T plus I, not TI.
Right, T
You
plus
can
I.
use tracks.
Right, T plus I, yeah. That may or may not be important this week, but yeah.
Who knows? We might finally see track of T plus I.
Now on to the showcases.
I think I'll be hopping off for showcase though. It's getting late for me.
Sure. Thank you for
Yeah.
commentating.
And I got school tomorrow. Alright, I'll be seeing y'all, everyone. It was nice hanging out and bullshitting. That's what I'm here for. That's my true purpose, not being the area main commentator. Alright, see y'all. See y'all next week. Bye.
All right. First up, we have seen this Murakonda's failed 47. This is GUI's MechA 6 solve that they have submitted before, but they got a MechA. All right. GUI says skip their showcase. All right. Next up is CrazyBot's first attempt at MechA 6. They say you can probably see what's wrong with it.
It gonna run in. It gonna run in. It's gonna run in. Oh no. Oh, what happened?
Next up, 42 Genius 42, Arm Area 7. This was his Mech Area 7 and demoted to Showcase because he made Mech Area 6. He says he likes the salty swing at the end of the process. And the next two are Trixie Kagami Alchemy Company. Next is Trixie Kagami Alchemy Company's Rate Solve. Now you are speaking my language. Let's get this baby on the shelves, metaphorically speaking, obviously. It's more of a show for, you know? The shelves are for those cabinets we made. Looking at it now, this crystal is pretty shiny. One could even call it lustrous. I feel like I've heard that before. And then there's a line break to separate the lore from the soap notes. Yep, this felt way better than a tempting area for me. Hi again all. Figured this would be fun to input speed, and I was right. This was my real foray into Lustrous tech, which makes sense considering once you put 7 inputs, you already have all 21 atoms you need. All you really need to do is move their bonds around. The input has less air to salt than the original, than the output, so to ensure an even ratio, I just dupe every salt into the air at the beginning. The way I don't need to worry about what goes where. Then I just calcify whatever needs salting at the end. You'll notice the brick tends to zigzag a bit, but I was worried if I only did one rotation, the whole thing would get muddied up with wrong bonds, D-bonds and such. So I level the brick out whenever I move it to the next station. I tried to work on the movement phases too, but some of these level outs could probably be removed if I wanted my machine to look uglier. I also try and change at least 2 bonds per station, but sometimes all you can do is rescue an atom from the inside of a hexagon and move on. If this machine were actually scoring an area, it'd be in 57th place with an area of 697, which is 69, followed by my favorite single digit number, so I think that's nice. This machine was a blast to build, and I'm proud of it. It's even got a funky rhythm to it. Congrats to all participants. Signed, Trixie Kagami, the Cheshire Alchemist, diverging from the given metric since 2025. And next two are my sum playtest soaps, because of that sum as the original metric. Could have been decent, but week 4 was already pretty sum-like. But yeah, that's it. That'll be all for me. That'll be all from me, and thank you for having me, and thank you for playing this week's puzzle. I'll see you next week.
Bye.